What if I told you that there are epic food stories that often go untold? Join your host, Seth, as he dives into the thrilling world of food challenges and competitive eating, interviewing those who not only take them on, but create them. Buckle up for the heart pounding moments, behind the scenes experiences, and the passion fueling it all. This is Food Challenge News.
Welcome back to the Food Challenge News Podcast. I'm your host, Seth, and today I'm joined by Patrick Deep Dish Bertoletti. How are you doing today, Patrick?
Excellent.
Glad to hear it. I'm also doing excellent. And what have you been up to lately?
It's like late August now, I think. Really haven't done much since July 4th. I've just been working a lot. I did do like a pizza challenge a couple weeks ago, but as far as anything on the eating front, I haven't really been doing much. Been resting my stomach.
How did you originally get started in competitive eating? Like, what drew you into it?
My first professional event, my twin sister told me about a pizza eating contest here in Chicago, and she just knew I could always eat a lot, and I prided myself on that, and I just that was it. But growing up, I mean, food was my drug of choice, and I love food. It's still like my favorite thing in the world. So I just always prided myself on being a big eater.
So you hold some jaw-dropping food records, including eating 275 pickled jalapenos in 8 minutes, 21 pounds of grits in 10 minutes, and 42 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in 10 minutes. When you enter a contest, do you focus on breaking a record, or is it more of a natural progression?
Back in the day, it might have been about breaking a record, but I just want to eat it. If I break the record, well, first of all, I guess you'd say it's the win, and just to eat as many of whatever as I can. So the record stuff to me these days, it's not really quite as important.
Do you have any foods that you don't like eating during contests, or that you've had to eat but you just didn't prefer to, but you pressed on anyway?
Yeah, I always go back to, I mean, the pickle jalapenos is probably like my favorite record, but I don't really love spicy food. And while the pickled ones aren't quite as spicy, the vinegar aspect makes it a lot worse. Raw oysters, definitely not my favorite outside of competition. So therefore, anise, rough, and fudge is probably like the one where I just can't eat a lot of it. It's very difficult for me.
How was the aftermath of eating that many pickled jalapenos? Like, did it take you a few days to recover?
Yeah, so it's not just the capsaicin. I mean, they are. I'd say they're like a 3 or 4 on the spice scale. It's more like the vinegar that has altered or has other effects on your body. So yeah, I would say like probably a full day and a half until I got back to normal. I honestly, I kind of figured out how to prep my stomach, and then they just stopped doing the event with MLE. So by the time I got it figured out, I didn't have to do it anymore.
So, growing up, what were some of your favorite foods? Like, for example, like I loved mac and cheese, I loved burgers. What were some of yours?
It's still to this day is pizza. Pizza's always going to be my favorite food.
So, you took a long break from competitive eating. How many years was that where you took a hiatus?
So my hiatus was from MLE strictly. I think it was like 7 or 8 years, and then I came back. I think 2 or 3 years ago. Pardon me, because my timeline as I'm getting older, I can't even follow it all. So came back, got like I think fifth place on July 4th, and then came back last year and won.
Yeah, and I wanted to talk to you about your 2024 Nathan's win. What did that victory mean to you, and what did it take to get there after so much time off?
I mean, it was something I always said that I wanted to do, and I never actually really thought it was possible. I wasn't really thrilled with how I did the last comeback when I ate 35 or whatever on the July 4th. And everyone's telling me, oh, you did so good for taking that time off. But to me, I knew how many hot dogs I could eat, and it just was really motivating, but also like upsetting to me that I only ate whatever amount. So it took a lot of work. I mean, I think it was 6 months out where I just was like, all right, I'm going to do that. And I wasn't quite sure. Like, I don't think any of us knew Joey wasn't going to be there until a couple weeks before. I had a suspicion that maybe he wouldn't be there, but that wasn't really, that didn't really affect it. I just really wanted to improve on my last performance and have a breakthrough, which I feel like I haven't. I do pretty well in other foods, but for hot dogs, I was overdue for a breakthrough. And yeah, and it's a lot of work.
How much harder is it training for like the hot dog eating contest than say like a jalapeno contest or like any other food?
The difficulty comes from a few things. I mean, first would just be knowing that Joey on paper is so much better than everybody else on it. So in that in itself can cause you to lose a little bit of motivation, gets in your head a little bit. And then it's just the combination of the protein and the carbohydrates, like the alternate textures and just eating the hot dogs is not necessarily a strength of mine. So it's just really difficult. You know, everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and where I think I do pretty well in hot dogs, I think I do it better and maybe better in other foods.
How is it eating in front of a live audience? Does that mess with you at all? Encourage you to eat more, or do you tune it out?
You know, in years past, the crowd would, I don't know if it would motivate me or maybe elevate me a little bit, but a lot of the times I wasn't doing so well in practice. And that was always like my Hail Mary, where I think a lot of years now they think, oh, well, I'll do this in practice, but that's going to carry me over the edge. Where now I'm like, the crowd doesn't really affect me at all and kind of tune it out. And the less of those outside factors you let get in your head or bother you, like the better. So in 2024, yeah, it was a great year on many levels for me, just because I honestly I'm happy that I set a personal best because really didn't think that was possible, and I'm happy I won as well. But I'm actually happier that I was able to get to 58.
Beyond competitive eating, you're also a chef and you've made multiple television appearances, including on the Food Network. Where did your love of food begin originally, and how did it turn into a culinary career?
So yeah, I my current job now is I'm a tasting chef at a large catering company. So I love food, and you know it always stemmed from loving food and flavor as a kid, and then I'm a little bit on the introverted, shy side, and it's hard to believe now. I'm still that way, but I found myself gravitating towards the kitchen just because I was curious about how the food was made, but also kind of like escape from, you know, people and conversations. And then as I grew older, learned more about cooking, it just really turned into a full-fledged passion and a love affair. And I mean, I've been obsessed with food for my whole life, but really professionally for the past like 22 years.
What were some of the more difficult moments with it? Like, for example, was there any points where you wanted to quit?
The difficulty really came probably when I first started culinary school because I graduated 2003 and I didn't really apply to a lot of schools and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And just on a whim, and a friend of mine from culinary camp in high school just told me to do it. And in the beginning, it was just very difficult because I lacked experience and any confidence whatsoever. I just was second guessing everything, and I don't know. It takes a while for me to grow my confidence, so that was definitely the hardest part. But the first week at culinary school, I knew that food was going to be something I was going to be doing for the rest of my life professionally.
How was it being on TV? Like, were you nervous at all?
Yeah, so the weird thing, you know, I used to get nervous about everything, but when I do anything that's competitive eating or food related, I am in my element. But you know, if I have to give a speech about myself, then I will have really bad anxiety. So I've done enough stuff now where it does not phase me, and I don't usually get nervous for any of that stuff. You know, maybe a little bit excited or antsy, but not anything crazy. It's just kind of normal.
So did it take you a while to like break out of that?
Yeah, it took some like on the job training, and that was one of the great benefits of competitive eating, was just always doing media. I mean, it took me a long way to get to where I am now, and I won't say I, I don't think I'm good at it, but I'm definitely a lot better than what I was doing before, and you know, I've come a long way.
And so you also have your own Wikipedia page, and I wanted to ask you, have you ever been to it, and how do you feel having your own Wikipedia page? Because I feel like that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, in all honesty, I think Major League Eating might have started all of the pages for the eaters. Like, if I'm being honest, I don't have any proof, but I'm just seems like they might have done that. And I've been to the page several times, and the most humorous thing to me is like people have put stuff on there that is not true, and I can't personally go on there and flag stuff and tell them it's not true because I think celebrities go on there and like try to change their age and stuff. So like I don't know, there'd be some untrue stuff on there, but also like it's just hilarious to me. I guess it means we've made it, and there's still something on there that my ex girlfriend wrote that I like in my downtime. I like to listen to Jesse and the Rippers, and add to my rubber band ball collection. So kind of humorous.
Is there anything on the page that stands out as just like verifiably false that you've seen?
There was some stuff like politically that I think it got taken down, and I think maybe like my friends had put up as a joke that said I was like a member of Antifa or something, which I don't know. They never told me that was one thing that was on there that wasn't true, but I don't know. It seems like there's a big gap in their, but it is pretty cool that it has compiled a lot of the stuff that I've done that I don't even really recall doing at this point.
So moving on to a bit of social media, I see you post pictures of your Yorkies sometimes, and there's even an adorable picture of them with your belt from 2024, and they are absolutely adorable. What are their names?
They are named Deb and Lou.
How long have you had them for?
I've had Lou for I think 2.5 years and Deb for a year. Lou shares the same name as my dad, and then when I got Debbie, I just decided to change her name to my mom, so they share the same name as my parents.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Yeah.
Do they ever try to sneak a bite of food when you're training for contests?
Yeah. The hardest thing about having dogs during hot dog season is just they can create quite a mess. So I've got it now where I have a system where I put down like dog pads everywhere, but I do have to shoo them away sometimes while I'm doing practices with food.
And what are some of your favorite non-food hobbies?
This has been like a long time struggle for me because I really put all my eggs in the food basket. So when obviously I like to travel, I have all the generic ones. I mean, I love travel experiences. I love trying new restaurants. I like reading. I consume far too much television. So, but I'm always on the hunt for something new to get obsessed with.
What are some of your favorite TV shows? What do you like to watch?
Let's see. I am a chronic binger. I mean, my favorite ones of all time, I can't even really think off the top of my head, but I like drama. I like comedies. Period pieces are always really good. Like Peaky Blinders was pretty good. I mean, I like everything, but like reality TV show, that's about the only thing I don't get down with anymore.
Yeah, I've heard Peaky Blinders is good, but I haven't checked that out yet. I'll have to check that one out.
I mean, I think a lot of them are good for like a couple seasons, and then I don't know. I find like I get committed to them. Say I watch 5 seasons of them, and then the show, and I just keep watching until it's over. And by the end, I'm usually relieved that I don't have to watch it anymore.
It almost becomes like a chore.
Yeah, it becomes a chore because like you get too far in. But I'm reminded back to the Food Network stuff. I don't think I even answered, but I mean, cooking on television is definitely pretty stressful, and it is reality TV. So you film a lot of stuff. They don't use a lot of it, and a lot of the stuff that we did that we thought was really funny or good, they keep it pretty G-rated and vanilla.
And what's a typical day for deep dish Bertoletti?
Typical day, just 9 to 5 is work, and then once I won Nathan's last year, I made a conscious effort to try to capitalize on that, and I'm filming a lot of cooking videos. It's kind of rare when I'm not training for something, so usually some type of training for competitive eating. And then I have a big family, so that's the other thing. It was just always something to do that way.
And as far as YouTube, you've been uploading cooking videos for years. Like one of them is the Bananas Foster's one, which is I think was like back from 2014. What are some recent ones that you've been uploading?
Yeah, so I tend to post a video a week, but I've been just experimenting with hot dog recipe ideas. So yeah, it's just basically all hot dogs. Yeah, like if anything works anywhere else, there's almost an unlimited amount of flavor combinations. Pizza's the obvious one. We've done that yet. I've done like an Arby's one, which is kind of gross. There's an Elvis. That was not very good, but there's like a chopped cheese where you can grind up the hot dogs and use it like ground beef. So like there is an unlimited amount of potential to hot dog cooking recipe videos.
Yeah, I saw your steakhouse hot dog one. That one looked pretty good.
Yeah, I like doing those, and honestly, I've had a YouTube channel since I think maybe '07. So I'm not super keen on doing the eating competition or like I will put up competitive eating stuff, but there's just so many other people doing it better and more interesting than me that I'm trying to do something different, and I just prefer the cooking stuff. I know that's not really what people want to see me doing, but I'm happy doing it, and that's really all that matters, I think.
Would you say it's more relaxing instead of like the pressure of training for eating contests? You know, you can just kind of more chill and cook in front of a camera.
Yeah, it's like it's scratching a different itch for me where if you do like an eating video, it's fun to come up with the ideas and sometimes if I have a good idea, I get excited to do that. But when it's just the cooking stuff, you kind of put yourself in that creative mindset and you're just always thinking about it. And that in itself is the challenge, but an exciting and a more interesting one to me at the moment.
How do you come up with the ideas for what you cook for YouTube videos?
So it just has to fit in the parameters of just being a hot dog recipe, but I'll be watching cooking videos or something or like travel and there'll be a flavor combination that I know or I see that sounds interesting or good. And then I have that, I don't know if it's ADD or what, but my brain just is always going. So like once I got into that mindset, it's just sometimes it's hard to turn it off, but it just keeps, I have a list of recipes to try, probably there's 100 things to do cooking wise. So I tend to seek inspiration everywhere and thoughts are always coming to my mind.
So what's next for you, and do you have any epic eating contests coming up?
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of events coming up. I don't know if there's anything I'll be doing between now and Norm's Hotcakes, but I think that's the first official thing I have coming up. Sometimes stuff pops up quickly, but that on paper, that's the next big event I have going on.
Do you have any YouTube videos you'd like to tease that aren't out yet?
No, not really. But I will say I'm trying to bridge the gap between competitive eating and cooking. So like the ultimate thing for me is I filmed something with Carbucci a while back where he just came over and I cooked for him. And I think that's really where I'd like to end up is doing those type of things where another eater comes over, maybe I cook for them, interview them, and they just either eat a giant thing that I made or I think that would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, sounds like a really cool concept.
Yeah, I mean, so many good people doing content. I mean, I think the beard is the best, but then you got LA Beast, you got everybody out there that I'm forgetting to mention, but everyone just does it so well.
Lastly, before we wrap it up, is there anything that you'd like to say to anyone listening?
No, I mean, I have to say that I follow all of your stuff. I've listened to all the pods, and I can't believe you got Jeff Esper to talk for that long. I was impressed.
Yeah, it was really cool to interview Jeff and have him on the podcast, talk to him about all the eating contests he's been a part of, and we love doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can tell that you're passionate about it, and I have to say the thing about Jeff. I mean, I feel really, I was in Jeff's position for so long, being in Joey's shadow, and it's just Jeff is such a better eater than I was or am now currently, and it really has to suck for him to be in Joey's shadow. It's like I don't know. I feel for him because I was in that position for such a long time. I was number 2 to Joey and overlooked, and I guess he's not getting the respect that he deserves.
And that concludes our interview with Patrick Deep Dish Bertoletti. Patrick, I'd like to thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Great. Thanks for having me on today, and it was a pleasure.
And as always, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you in the next episode.